pleasant welcome to another edition of the program The Good Morning Show here on Star Television. We broadcast live from our Media One Center, 3 Mama Street, Brookfield in Freetown. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamar. Top stories in the program. Starting next January 2020, countries within the West African sub-region will be able to use a single currency called ECO. The new single currency was adopted by the Economic Community of West African States and Government in Abuja, Nigeria, after a decade of discussion towards achieving regional economic integration. The National School of Midwifery, with support from UNFP, the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and other partners, has certified 49 midwives in the colorful graduation and award ceremony at the Miata Conference Hall in Freetown. And we shall also be looking at where the National Council for Civic Education and Development has on Friday, June 5th, 2019, held an engagement session with stakeholders at the St. Anthony Parish Hall at Syke Street in Freetown. The meeting is aimed at putting policies together where they will be having a draft report that is going to be validated. All this, including sport, will be part of the program. Remember, the Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Rokel Commercial Bank.
Did you say you want to talk to me?
Yes, my brother. I get stress, bank stress.
I need money, right?
So go put money in my bank, no problem. So go put money in my bank, no problem. I go to map in a line all day just for put money and pull money. And the loan system, look me business, they go down the drain. You know, get loan system. Me, I just tired.
Now that's the stress you.
Yes, my brother. And I'm stress standing.
Let that not be stress. Because my your bank was the bank when I will tell commercial bank. When are the award-winning bank for 2018, where they don't win so many awards inside Freetown and even serve outside Salon. Yes, they even recognize them at the international world as they win one of the most prestigious awards from Nigeria as the best corporate bank na Salon. They don't even count financial inclusion, which it means they want to involve everybody in a Salon. Never mind the kind of business way they do. If na pepper self they sell in the market or any other petty business they do, then even self they don't left their comfort zone for going to bonds. When at the island, when you don't say when people that avoid for do banking business, they don't go there for let the people themselves they part of the financial inclusion within the park. And self they get plenty other products where you will meet you day-to-day needs. Then gets like the Keke account. When for them boys and when they ride the Keke them. And self then gets the Osusu account. Then get MasterCard, other platform that they will take money like SimCorp. When a new banking system where they don't count, the business now inside his phone they do. You know, you don't need for go, you need to snap that long queue. As then at the award-winning bank, they want to maintain that standard and they want to satisfy the customers. Let them make sure say everybody can inside the bank system. Then nobody not left out. Now for can't open account to them, it's simple. You 50,000, 100,000, you're okay.
Thank you, my brother. I need for one go now Rokel Commercial Bank right now. I beg no drink so that they go. This is good news.
Rokel Commercial Bank, mama. Rokel Commercial Bank, bank with Rokel Commercial Bank, #1. Bank with Rokel Commercial Bank, #1.
You're welcome back from that commercial break. We move along with the program. Starting next January 2020, countries within the West African sub-region will be able to use a single currency called ECO. The new currency was adopted by the Economic Community of West African States and Government in Abuja, Nigeria, after decades of discussion towards achieving regional economic integration. Here's a highlight of that event.
The need to integrate trade and remove all obstacles to free trade and movement in ECOWAS member states was again raised at the opening of the second ordinary session of the 2018 ECOWAS Parliament. One of the recommendations to achieving this is to adopt a single currency for Africa. Details in this report.
Developing intra-community trade is a sore point constantly raised when the issue of the economic development of African countries is discussed. Presently, intra-community trade in Africa stands at 15%, while trade at European Union is at 70%.
For the 55th ECOWAS Summit.
It is with great pleasure.
In all of the opening comments, the speakers touched on issues slowing down growth and development in the region. Top on the list is insecurity.
We are all witness to the recurring incidents of inter-communal clashes, hardest farmers' conflicts, banditry and terrorist attacks in all our countries. Let me offer, on behalf of all of us, our sincere sympathies and condolences to the families of the victims of terrorist attacks, banditry, and inter-communal clashes perpetrated by some misguided elements in our societies. West Africa sub-region faces a number of other challenges which require concerted national, regional, and international efforts. Some of these relate to governance, particularly inclusion, accountability, and adherence to rule of law, climate change, maritime piracy, security sector reform, drug trafficking, and transnational organized crime.
The meeting went into closed doors for over 7 hours. A 58-point communique was read at the end of the meeting, showing the leaders agreeing on several fronts. These include peace and security, tourism, single currency and free movement of people and goods across common borders.
The authority reaffirms gradual approach to the single currency, starting with countries that meet the convergence criteria. The authority adopts the flexible exchange rate regime together with a monetary policy framework centered on inflation targeting. ECO was also adopted as the name of the ECOWAS single currency.
The political situations in Mali and Benin Republic, Guinea-Bissau and Togo were also reviewed.
The authority takes note with satisfaction of the holding of local elections on 30th June 2019 with the effective participation of the opposition and urges all stakeholders to ensure peaceful elections in order to deepen democracy in Togo.
President Muhammadu Yusufu of Niger Republic emerged the new chair of the ordinary session, taking over from President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, who received accolades from his colleagues for his leadership and commitment.
You know that we have a single currency. This will promote integration, in the region. And I think this is one of the agenda items here, among the parliamentarians, to see how the convergence can be done, because, there are French countries and English-speaking countries coming together, and there are a lot of macroeconomic issues that have to be sorted out.
I think that will be fine, especially for business people, because normally it creates problems when we go to other countries and when business people go to other countries in terms of the change. When you go there, if you are not au fait with the currency they are using, either you be duped or maybe otherwise. But I believe if we have one currency, it stands good, because like in Euro, they are using Euro currency all over their country. So if we have that in West Africa, why can't we?
Other issues on the agenda at the parliamentary meeting included the consideration of the budget of all ECOWAS institutions, mitigating irregular migration and trafficking, areas of support for the G5 Sahel Alliance, and other breakout sessions by partners.
We move along with the program. The National School of Midwifery, with support from UNFPA, the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and other partners, has certified 49 midwives in colorful graduation and award ceremony at the Miata Conference Hall in Freetown. Hassan Kuruma reports.
This set of graduates is the 33rd professional midwives to graduate from the National School of Midwifery as state-certified nurses after successfully completing long months of post-basic professional midwifery training that is, however, internationally recognized based on essential competence for basic midwifery practice for global standards of midwifery practices. Given the annual school report for 2018-19 academic year on Friday, 5th June 2019, the principal, National School of Midwifery, Dr. Joan Shepard, said 49 midwifery students successfully completed the state board exams with 7 credits, disclosing that a second batch of 2 sets of 50 and 52 students, total to 102, adding that the institution is now in the mid-training block undertaking theoretical core modules due to more demands of training more midwives to handle maternal and child health care across the country. She also highlighted the National School of Midwifery has over the years been using temporary structure for their learning purposes, and thus called on the Ministry of Health and other partners to help provide a permanent structure for the school.
It's multifactored issue, and it needs attention of all, but it cannot only be reduced by training midwives but it goes beyond the 3 delays, which can seriously hinder successes in production of midwives. Finally, to the newly qualified midwives, I have no doubt you will live up to expectation. As you take your pledge today, I pray that you do so in all sincerity, seriousness, and sober reflection. Please join hands, join the ministry, and come on board so that we can improve on the present health status for our women, the unborn babies, and generations yet unborn. I wish you well in your future work and practice, and don't forget, respectful maternity care is what our women and communities need. So please make this a must as you go to the real world of midwifery. Well, I thank you all for your attention.
Giving the keynote address, the Honorable Minister of Health and Sanitation, Professor Alpha Tijan Wuri, opined that the work of the midwives is not only to see women safely give birth to their babies, but also guide them through antenatal care. He also made commitments as per popular demand. His government will build a permanent midwifery school structure to address their present plight.
I do not believe we would have a better opportunity than now. The very first issue is to consider the commitment of the head of state. It is clear to me that the opportunity we all have as Sierra Leoneans now, we may not have in the near future. You know, His Excellency, Brigadier Dr. Julius Maada Bio has just one focus in life: the development of the human capital in this country. The human capital is not just education. Whilst you see it as education, in other words, things at a primary or a secondary school, but health education is key. Education for the services in health provision is vital. You are at the initial stage of life. That is the stage when a child gets it right, he has a 40% chance of getting it right in life. At birth, if you are not exposed to major trauma, you now stand a reasonable chance to do well. If indeed your nutritional status is controlled, if indeed you are exposed to major immunization, in which you are also in the lead to be able to do that, that child stands a very good chance. You improve the cognitive skill ability of that child.
Hawatina Bangura, the class rep for batch 33, expressed how happy she is being called a certified midwife after going through long, rigorous training.
Oh, it means so much. You know, all my desire, all the years of my life, it pains me so much when I see a woman die during pregnancy. Because pregnancy is not a disease. So no woman should die when being pregnant. So when a woman dies, it pains me so much. Today, being a state certified midwife, I promise I will do my best to see that I contribute to the reduction of maternal mortality in this country. It was such a rugged road, but thank God, my principal, my teachers were there. They always tap me on the back that move on, you can do it. And sure, I did it.
The occasion was graced by WHO country representative, the Director of Training and Research, Minister of Health and Sanitation, ICAP and GIZ, among other key personalities and institutions. Counting on the stride the National School of Midwifery is making, with continued commitment and dedication to service by the competent staff and leadership, it is with optimism that the school's mission and vision will be achieved for posterity. For Star News in Freetown, Hassan Koroma reporting.
And in that interview is the Anti-Graft Commissioner, lawyer Francis Ben Kerfala, marking a year in office in the fight against corruption. Let's move along. The National Council for Civic Education and Development, as on Friday, June 5, 2019, held an engagement session with stakeholders at the St. Anthony Parish Hall at Syke Street in Freetown. The meeting is aimed at putting policies and structures in place for the institution to function and operate well. Here is a report.
The National Council for Civic Education and Development, NACCED, has on Friday, June 5, 2019, held an engagement session with stakeholders at the St. Anthony's Parish Hall at Sykes Street, Freetown. Speaking at the engagement session, the chairman, National Council for Civic Education and Development, Kalilu Tutangi, intimated that the Commission is building an institution that will inculcate the values of patriotism and nationalism in the minds of Sierra Leoneans.
The National Council for Civic Education and Development was established by presidential order. Our role is to bring public education both in the communities and schools, something we call citizenship education, so that citizens can become aware of their rights, their roles and their responsibilities, and to further engage citizens into taking part in the process of governance in their country. What we are doing currently is we are trying to develop the structures of the organization. One of the ways we have proposed to do that is to have a national action, a national strategic plan. The strategic plan is what is going to guide the work of the institution. So we have engaged in regional consultations. We have been to Kenema, where we invited stakeholders from Kenema, Kailahun and Kono. We have done the same thing in Bo, where we had representatives from Bond district and all of the other districts in the south. Same thing to in Makene, where we had all of the districts in north and northwest, where we have all of the districts. Now we're in the western area. The reason why we are doing this is because issues like civic education are national issues. They are not partisan, they don't only belong to the government, they belong to all of us as Sierra Leoneans. So what we want to do is to have the say and the buy-in and the contribution of the average Sierra Leonean into this document, so that at the end of the day, when we adopt this document as the strategic plan for this country, everybody will have a say into it.
He informed his audience that the Commission will be doing the third generation of the Open Government Partnership that will be completed in August. It could be recalled that civic education is one of the presidential promises during the campaign period by President Julius Maada Bio under his new direction that will engender the spirit of national cohesion and promote peace.
Now we know the role of the military. We can talk less. We are more of listeners. But I just want to assure you, see, this is the beauty of democracy. Them we don't come, where the military that be a sacred institution, we foresee ourselves no problem. Now, the military, any function, any activity, they take part. Even if you don't go talk, not is a will take part. For let you know, see, democracy is at play. Where they may start this council, we will be the first people that we will be present in the Ministry of Development and Economic Planning. And from there, they get some committees, then they get a steering committee. And from that time up to this time, they follow exactly what they happen. But like I say, people are the way they're supposed to talk. We they more for the list. But for telling us, say every aspect of what they go on at this council, fully supported by the military and fully supported by the Ministry of Defense.
For Star News in Freetown, I am Asnatu Eluma Bokari reporting.
Thank you so much, Hassanatu Bokari, for putting that report together. But I'm also, though, pretty much disappointing for those who consented to actually attend the program this morning as my guest, Mohamed Lamranaba from the Strategic Communication Unit, Minister of Information and Communication, and Ahmed Sahib Nasrallah, one of the aspirants for the presidency of SLAJ. All of them failed to turn up. On that note, this is how I draw the curtain in today's edition of the program, the Star Good Morning Show. It returns hopefully tomorrow till then. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamara.